right, let's do some more mental health chats because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So today I'm going to talk about medication because a lot of people ask me about medication a lot. Now before I go into this, I'm going to say what I always say, which is like, I am not a fucking doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not a psychologist. I can't fucking tell you if you have PTSD, anxiety, and depression or whatever. I cannot tell you that. Those are the only people that can tell you for sure. So I just want to put that disclaimer out. I'm just going to tell you my experience with it and hopefully some things that can make you feel better about if you're going through the same process as me. So in case you don't know what I got, if for some reason this is the first time you're seeing me, I have PTSD, I have generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, and agoraphobia / panic disorder, which is really, they're all annoying as fuck. But a lot of people ask me, like, what do you think about medication? Like, you know, antidepressants and stuff like that. And usually when I have these talks, I always link it back to the Black community, and this is a big deal in the Black community. Like, there's, of course, a lot of people that don't like the idea of having to take medication for mental health stuff, but it's really big. Like, it's a really big part of the stigma in the Black community as far as mental health. Like, first of all, like, don't go to therapy, because if you go to therapy, you're fucking crazy, and then you're double crazy if you have to take crazy pills, you know. And you know, and I guess some of the reasoning behind it is kind of the same reason why a lot of people are afraid to take the vaccine. Like, I don't know what's in it, I don't want to put that shit in my body, all this stuff, to which I'm like, well, nigga, you don't even know what's in your cough medicine, but you take that. Like, come on now. And I don't know, it's just like this, like the feeling of hating the feeling of having to rely on medication to function properly. It's definitely a pride thing, and I'm not gonna be, I don't want to be reliant on it. I don't want to get an addiction to it or whatever, like, and all that shit. So I'm like, okay. So I used to be like that. I was raised by a Black parent with all of these insecurities and stuff. And I've talked in other videos before about how, like, when I got diagnosed with PTSD when I was in the Air Force, and I told my Black parent, my father, he basically was like, when did you get so weak? Basically, it was like, he acted like I went outside without a jacket and caught a cold. It was fucking ridiculous. And I was ashamed when I got the diagnosis, because I did feel like I was weak, like I could have avoided it. That's a conversation for another time. But it obviously, like, no, it's not your fault. But I didn't feel easy about taking medication. Even before I got the diagnosis for PTSD, they knew that I had mild anxiety, and I went to the doctor because I was always tired of driving to work and driving back. When I was in the Air Force on base, to base and back from base. I was like tired to the point where, like, it was literally only a 25-minute drive, and I would fall asleep on both legs of that trip. 25 minutes, that's it. And for like hour-long drives, forget it. Like, it was almost a hazard. And I was like, what the fuck's going on with me? I'm like, do I have sleep problems? Like, what's going on? And so I went to the doctor, and they said, it's your anxiety. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean it's what do you mean that's my anxiety? They're like, because your anxiety is so severe that your body is so tired that it is shutting down. Like, the ongoing anxiety in your body is so bad that it is literally shutting down without any warning, and basically you fall asleep at the wheel, and that's not good. So I was like, oh shit. And so they gave me medication to take, and they're like, take this, it should help you with your sleep and all that. I didn't take it. I think it's still sitting in my cabinet right now today. I didn't take it because I had that insecurity and that stigma of, like, having to take pills. I'm like, I don't want to have to fucking rely on this shit to take pills. Like, I just need to get it right. Like, I have my natural remedies, all of that. But, you know, I was still having these panic attacks. I was still, you know, falling asleep and stuff. And then one day I actually ran my car off the road, passed out, and went to the emergency room because I was like faint. And I literally could have died. And there's so many times that I almost ran my car off the road and could have died just from my anxiety. And so that was a wake-up call to me. It was like, okay, you know, it's at this, like, my mental illness is at the point where I do need medication to help me function. Because if I don't, I could really hurt myself. Like, I could accidentally kill myself, and that is not worth it. My pride is not that important. So I went and I got on medication, and I'm still on medication today. And so I just want to say that, like, if you are one of those people that, like, you're finding that your doctor or whatever is recommending that you take medication, like, don't feel bad about it. Unfortunately, more and more of us are having to do that, because more and more people are having anxiety and depression at the clinical level. But you don't want to let it get out of control to the point where it's going to interfere with your life, either, you know, changing just who you are and how you process the world, or, like I said, causing your body to shut down and possibly fall asleep at the wheel. Not fucking worth it. And medication isn't forever for a lot of people. Some people are only on medication for like a few months and then they go off. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. But it's okay. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about it. It's, I know it's a big stigma to overcome, like I said, especially in certain communities. But as far as my stance with medication, it's like, if you need it, get it, man. If you need it, get it. And you may not, like I said, you may not need it forever. And you can always add like natural remedies and stuff to it. Like I do CBD oil, and I take a kava extract, which is very fucking good. Kava, very fucking good. But if you need it, and your doctor is saying that you need it, like, don't feel bad about taking it. Because it's part of taking care of yourself, and hopefully it can help you get to some sense of normalcy, you know. And just think of it as like taking medicine for like just about anything, you know. There are medicines for all sorts of ailments that happen to our bodies. And, you know, with the mental health movement and everything, we're learning more that, you know, our brain can be injured too, you know. And our brain can be chemically off balance too. So don't feel bad about it. I will say some of them have side effects, and so watch them very closely. The first antidepressant that they ever put me on was Zoloft. The Air Force kind of pressured me to stay on that medication, and it made me gain so much weight that I was very, very overweight, and out of shape. It was really, really bad. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it happened to me, and I wish that I had stopped earlier and asked to be switched to another medication, but the people there kind of pressured me to stay on that one for some reason. So like, yeah, work together with your doctor to figure out what's gonna work best for you. But I always try to throw that out about the Zoloft, because the Zoloft fucked me the fuck up, and I was so mad, and it took me like the better part of a year to lose it. That's a year, and after getting off the medication and replacing it with a new one and a supplementary medication to help me lose the weight. Fucking crazy. So those are my thoughts on medication. I know it can be a really scary world or realm to enter into if that's kind of where you're at in your journey, but I just want to let you know that, like, I've been there too. I've been scared to take medication, and unfortunately every once in a while that toxic shit comes in the back of my head, and I'm convinced it's why sometimes I forget to take my medication, because there's still that little toxic voice that's like, you don't need this, you're overreacting, you don't need a fucking pill. And then 2 or 3 days pass, and then I have some sort of episode or relapse or whatever, and it's like, yo, you know what, I think I fucking do need to take that pill. I do, at least for now. So yeah, that's my experience, guys. So if you have to take medication for your mental health shit, don't feel bad about it. Don't. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself and maybe even get yourself back on track. So that's it, guys.